everyone, it's Andy here again with Sharks TV. I'm really pleased to have a special guest with us tonight, Mr. James Hutchison. James, how are you doing? Nice to see you.
I'm fantastic. Over the moon to be on, and nice to see you too. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Desperate for hockey. I'd rather be commentating on hockey and watching it rather than talking to people about it. I suppose talking's the next best thing, eh?
Absolutely. Whatever you're doing is the next best thing via the computer. You're doing everything, working, socializing, everything's via the computer, but you can't slap pucks via the computer.
Yeah,
although some of them are
absolutely.
starting this week.
Absolutely. But look, I think the end of lockdown's in sight, so hopefully we'll get back sooner rather than later. Things are looking a little bit more positive than they have done.
Absolutely. I think you can almost feel it as the weather's lifting and restrictions are lifting. Like life might, well, I don't like to say too much too soon. We've had a lot of false promises, but yeah, hopefully this summer will be the summer that everyone gets their lives back really and starts having fun again.
Okay, so let's get down to talking with you. You played with the Sharks and retired from the Sharks 2019. But you had a really quite an extensive hockey career playing elite and all sorts of things. You want to just run through your hockey career for us?
I will do. My memory's absolutely atrocious, so I've wrote a list of teams. I've had to write a list or I'd never remember. I was a bit of a suitcase. I was all over the shop. So I bought a list of teams. I started off at Whitley Bay, and that's where I am now. I'm in Whitley Bay, so I've come full circle. That was my first senior team. And from there, I went down to the Isle of Wight Raiders, the smallest rink in the world, to play in the EPL when I was 18. That was great. Hockey not so, but the place was good and lived with my mate down there, so that was good. 18. From there, I went to Basingstoke Bison, and that was, I don't know the year, but it was the first year that the Elite League was formed from the Super League down to the Elite League. So that was showing my age a little bit there. Played in, I think they call it the inaugural Elite League season for Basingstoke. So that was good as an 18-year-old. 19-year-old, it was a big step up, a massive step up from the EPL to there. Basingstoke, I went, so I'm kind of going up and down here, Whitley Bay, Isle of Wight, Basingstoke, back up. I went to Dundee for a year from there, which was really, really good fun. One of the most fun years I had, where we won the BNL playoffs that year, which was my first taste of winning something big. So that was amazing. And on the back of that, I got a team in France. I played for Morzine Penguins in the Ligue Magnus in France. So that was amazing. Skiing all the time. I didn't get the second year of my contract that I'd signed for. They took it away from me there because when I got injured, I just went skiing every day because I'd injured my shoulder, and I figured it's not my shoulder, I'll ski all day. So I had six weeks off, and all I had to do was report to the physio in the morning for 20 minutes, and then I had the rest of the day to myself. It was in the Alps. I thought, I'll ski. No one will know. Comes to the end of the season, and the agent's like, yeah, you're not getting your contract next season. I'm like, well, I finished all right. I was doing okay there. And they just said, your behavior when you were injured was not acceptable. So someone's busted me going skiing every day. So I lost a year in France because of that, but great place to play, great experience to get over onto the continent. I think a few British players have gone on over there since then. There's been quite a few, so it's a lovely, lovely place. Next, we came back from France and went to Manchester for about 6 weeks. It was terrible. That wasn't terrible. I was terrible. It was a bad fit for me there. That was Manchester's first year after they'd been the Storm and they came as the Phoenix. For about 6 weeks, and then it was then that I went to Peterborough. That I thought I was just going to stay for a couple of weeks. Ended up going back and forth there because then from Peterborough I went to Hull, back to Peterborough, back to Belfast, back to Peterborough, to Slough, to Basingstoke, back to Peterborough, and then Hull and Solway again. So that's the rundown of where I've been from my list. If I've researched properly and found out where I've been, that's what I've got as a rundown.
Yeah, well, I got you to explain all that because I had a look at your career online, and it looked like it was all over. You had so many teams, and you were going backwards and forwards. So that explains a lot.
Absolute suitcase I was, yeah. I never, apart from going back to Peterborough every other year, I never stayed anywhere longer other than Solway. I think was it 3 seasons there?
Yeah, 3 seasons with us.
That's as long as I stuck around from under 16. So it must have been a nice place.
Aye, absolutely. What was the highlight of that, other than the skiing in France? What was the highlight of the hockey career?
The highlight of the hockey career was anytime we won, really. I was fortunate enough to win a treble with Peterborough, win a championship with Dundee, championship with Belfast, and then, of course, to finish it off, almost the very last thing was winning a treble with the Sharks. So it was one of those. If I had to pick one of those winning scenarios, it was probably the Peterborough one, because I felt like that's when I was at my peak and I was playing better and I contributed more to the team winning then than I did on the other teams that we won on.
So what are you doing with yourself these days?
I'm an advisor at Game Plan Financial. I don't know if you've heard of it, but there's loads of hockey players doing that now when their career's over. It's a great business for us to step into after hockey, and it's been fantastic. It's like being back in the dressing room again. You know, we have our meetings on a Monday morning, and it's all the boys there sitting around. It's like being back in the dressing room, which is missed by everyone, and it's really much appreciated.
Absolutely, absolutely. So how did you come to sign for the Sharks? What was it how did that just come around?
Well, I'd retired the year before. It was a rough year. I was in Hull. Apologies to anyone that lives in Hull, but the 2 years I spent there, the least enjoyable of my career. And I had a year there. It was another unenjoyable one. And it just so happened that year, my dad passed during the season, and then my daughter was born. I was miserable. I thought, okay, I'm miserable here. The team wasn't winning. It's no good. Time to retire, move on. And I must have been retired about 4 weeks, and I bumped into a pal in the gym, Simon Leach. I don't know if you know Simon Leach from back in the day, and he was saying, I've just been speaking to Spud, he's looking for X, Y, and Z type of player. Would you be interested? And then immediately I was like, oh, there's a chance again I can play. And I knew Spud from before. I'd done some work with the Sharks off the ice. My brother-in-law played for the Sharks, Adam Reynolds. And I liked what I'd seen, and I liked what I'd heard. And I was just looking for somewhere positive and somewhere to enjoy my last days of playing, and Solway was exactly that, and came along at just the right time. And I had 3 years playing that I didn't think I was going to get, and so yeah, it was great for me. Great way to go out.
Why did you retire it after 3 years? Could you not have stretched it on at 4 or 5?
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but I think the games I played went down each year because different parts of the body just kept falling off. And that last injury that kept me out, there's something going on here. I've never really got it checked out, but if I was to go and hold a stick like this now, it would still hurt. And we were waiting all that season to see if I could play at the end. And there's something going on with his hand that I just couldn't pick a stick up still. So there's something not right. That's what made me retire, because I couldn't play. I was playing a couple of games there. My knee would hurt, my wrist would hurt, someone would hurt, and it's just not fair on the kids, really. And it's just not fair on my body either. So that's why I retired.
I think, I was doing a wee bit of chatting with some of the folk at the Sharks this week, just before I spoke to you, and they were saying they really miss you around the place. So I think that's a really nice thing that they just miss you, James, around the rink and what you were bringing. So you're missed.
That's lovely to hear, and yeah, all the boys or everyone up there's always missed that. I never come across a bad egg. It was a lovely place, lovely people, great staff. I just thoroughly enjoyed it, and I miss it myself. I miss everything apart from playing ice hockey. So hence why, well, we'll get onto that later, but I will be floating around again.
Absolutely, that'll be good. What was the highlight for you, the Sharks? Was it winning the treble?
Yeah, it was winning the treble, definitely. We just had such a team of young, talented kids. So I don't want to say kids, but young, talented players and kids, that opened my eyes. I didn't realize there was that much young British talent floating around, and I knew straight away that season there was a chance because the high energy, they played so well, and obviously we had Kimmy and Senko on the back end, so that just kind of meant the kids got to play in the offensive zone, because one of those guys was going to be on the ice, and as you know, neither of them really like to play defense, even though they're defensemen. So there's a lot of offensive opportunity for the kids, and it was really good to see them having that offensive opportunity with the two imports. Excuse me, I've just had dinner, if you can't already tell. Just to see the kids play with the imports like that and get to play a lot of offense, because often you see young kids, they get a role where they go out on the third or fourth line. It's just a grind. So it was really good to see getting them let loose and show their talents and ultimately win us the league. It was great.
It's always a good thing. Yeah, I think that's always a good thing about the Shark. We've always brought on young players, and I think that was obviously a highlight. I was speaking to Matthew the other day, who done some of the recording, the video for that weekend. I think they were going to try and show it over the whole weekend, over Easter. So keep an eye out for that if you want to relive your finest moments.
Absolutely, I'll force the kids to watch that. Daddy used to be able to move. He used to be able to go
Come and
places
watch.
fast.
Come and watch Dad.
Definitely.
Brilliant. Are you missing the hockey?
I miss everything about it. I even miss the quiet time in the car, driving over to Solway, seeing the boys. I just don't miss playing the game, which is probably kind of sad. And I think that's probably because of the injuries I had. I mean, it wasn't just the last year in Solway. I had injuries the whole time, so it was becoming a real drag on the body, and I have no interest in playing again right now with it. I watch it on the TV and I see the guys get hit and I'm like, oh Jesus, that would break me. But I miss the boys. I miss being around the fans. I miss everything about it. Just unfortunately, the main thing is the skating, getting hit. I don't miss at all.
Oh, it's a shame. That's a shame. So we talked a little bit about younger players. You're obviously keen to see the young players progress with the Sharks. Have you got any advice for some of the young Shark players they've really done really well last year? You know, they're trying to move on, and I see Liam's got a draft pick with Nottingham, I think it was. So there's a lovely progression there. But have you got any advice for them?
It's tough. Of course, just keep enjoying it is the main thing. Make sure you're having fun in it, and if ever there's a point or a season you're on a team you're not having fun, nip that in the bud straight away. Speak to a coach, speak to someone about why it's not fun, because ultimately the more fun you're having when you're younger, the more you're going to develop. Your emotional game is going to be better because you're in a better place. You're going to output more energy and learning new skills. So just make sure it's enjoyable. Surround yourself with positive people. Like the Sharks is probably why there's such good production coming through them. It's just such a positive place for the kids to learn to play. So I'd say make sure it's fun. If it's not fun, find a way to make it fun as quick as possible and work hard. You'll get what you want, would be my advice.
Nice one. You got any memorable moments that you'd like to share with us? Any behind the scenes stories that you might have?
From the Sharks or from anything in particular?
Anything. I'm obviously now going to say the Sharks and the rest of your career.
A standout moment in my career, and this is regurgitated, that I told this story because I was best man for this guy at his wedding too. Like when we were in Peterborough, it was the cup final. We were 4-0 down after the first leg, bringing the home leg home to Peterborough, and 4-0 down against Guildford. You're like, there's a slim chance we're going to win this. You know, it'd be huge if we did though. So my roommate at the time, Joe Miller, he's like, if we win tonight, I'm going to strip off slapshot style and skate around the rink with no clothes on. He was not confident in us, I don't know, but the game started and he scored 4 goals in the first period, so we're tied going in after one period. And I never said anything to him, but I'm looking, thinking, if we pull this off, you better pull through. The game goes on, we win the game. He scores a couple more goals. That's the game of his life. We're celebrating with the cup on the ice. And I just thought, I got to go and remind him. So I went, Millsy, remember the chat we had this afternoon here? You're going to gear down. He's like, okay, mate, get round me. So all the boys got round him. Sure enough, all his gear come off, swinging his jock, skating around the fans, and then bolted for the door. That was definitely the most memorable story that stuck out when I seen that question. Is I've got to mention Joe Miller and his striptease for the Peterborough faithful that night.
Fantastic, brilliant! What a story!
A good one.
Anything from the Sharks then?
I haven't got any crazy ones like that from the Sharks. I was like the boring old guy, I think, by the time I got to the Sharks. But the most memorable moment would just be winning the treble. You know, it's to see those young guys. I mean, that doesn't mean a lot more when you're older to win. I'm not sure. I think you understand what it takes to win a lot more when you're older, and just to see the young guys play fearless in the final games and see the smiles on their faces when they won, the first taste of winning. That's what sticks out for me, and probably what made me come back for another season, because that was my last season then too. But I came back for another couple more just to see those kids smiling when we win.
And nobody can take it away from you guys. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. We got it. It's in the bank. It's on the sheet.
Absolutely. What was the best match you've ever played in? I mean, that one against Guildford sounded pretty amazing, but is there a better game?
That was an amazing game with like a sellout crowd in Peterborough's little barn. That was fantastic. Another game that sticks out was when I went over to play in France. We got some exhibition games at the start against other European teams. We played against some like top European teams. We went to Switzerland to play a team, and it was like, I don't know if you've ever seen scenes of games from the NLA in Switzerland. There was like firecrackers in the crowd, lots of ex-NHL guys, and I was shitting my pants when I got there. I was thinking, oh my God, I'm out my depth here. This is going to be atrocious. These boys are fresh out the NHL and millionaires, and but I ended up having one of the best games I've ever had. And it was an exhibition game. It didn't mean anything, so it's purely selfishly. It felt to me like the biggest stage. To those guys, it was a pre-season friendly, but I had the game of my life, and it sticks with me, that one.
Ah, nice one. That's great. What about any regrets? Have you had any regrets in your career, or are you happy?
No, I'm happy. I like to think no regrets. I mean, a sensible me could sit down and say, okay, my younger days, I could have took care of my body a little bit more and enjoyed a little bit less of the social side of the game. But looking back now, I think if I had the chance to do it all again, I'd probably do everything exactly the same, purely because hockey ends, but the relationships that you build during hockey don't end. And I think they're formed having the social life off the ice, which probably isn't allowed as much these days. But I mean, I wrote that down as a little regret, but it's not really. I would do it all again. I had fun, and I'm happy with where it's taken me. So yeah, no regrets.
Nice one. Good way to be. Good way to be. Okay, just about nearing the end here, and the question I've asked everybody: a tune for when we get back on into the Ice Bowl. No rubbish. Got to be a decent tune.
The lads will all know this one because I'd screech it every time they put their shite on. Am I allowed to swear? Probably not. Oh, have I dropped any bad swear words?
No, you're okay. You're okay. Don't worry.
Well, this one, it's called Jackie Big Tits, the song by the Kooks.
Yes, I'm aware of the song.
Yes, it was played in a couple of dressing rooms where we had successful seasons, and then from there, I've just wanted to try and relive that success, and I guess I've clung on to it. So every time there's been put your requests in for songs, I've always put that down, and now I probably haven't heard it since I retired. Actually, I blast it this weekend when we're watching the Sharks and really roll the clock back.
Absolutely. I'm not sure Craig will play it on the on game night, but
no,
we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, bleep some bits out maybe.
Absolutely. So just before we finish, I'd just like to say thank you so much for spending some time with us. It's great to speak to you, but we've kind of had a little blather beforehand, and some good news for the Shark fans, perhaps. Do you want to tell them?
I do, and I think they probably would have guessed that it's not in a playing capacity, the way I've just told them I'm pretty much incapable at the minute. But I'm really, really excited to do this, and yeah, I can't wait to come along and help you out. And help you out. I don't know, hinder you in the commentary box a little bit next season. I think it'll be great. I'd love to do it. Just love to be back around the place. Like I said before, I had time my life there. It was positive, lovely people, lovely place. So I just want to be involved again. I'm really looking forward to it. You have to give me some pointers. I don't know what it involves, but I can talk a bit of hockey to you.
That's exactly it. I mean, it'd be great to have somebody like you alongside me in the commentary box for the games that we do next year. I was speaking to Jamie Thompson, saying that you would do this with me, and he says, well, didn't let him go full on Geordie on you. And I'm from Shetland, so if I speak in Shetland dialect, nobody would understand either of us. So it'll be that's fine. Right. We'll be fine.
We've been all right. Kudos to us then, keeping it strictly English.
Absolutely. We'll keep it going. So it'll be great to see you then, and that's something to look forward to all Sharks fans. And once again, James, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
No worries. Take care.
Cheers, you too. Bye-bye.